Hello there, and welcome back to the program. I am repeating the exact same intro because someone forgot to press record. You are listening to Game Honey, the show where we talk about video games to help you through the start of your week. We can only hope that one day you will return the favor.
Deja vu.
A man can dream. Speaking of men, I have two fine specimens joining me today. Don't pretend that you heard this before, because I'm sure you didn't.
No.
Because he forgot to press record, Grizzly's going last. Panda, how are you doing over there in Japan?
It is very hot and humid here, he said for the first time this evening.
Yeah, shall I ask you again if you're feeling sultry?
I shall make, again, the joke that sultry is my middle name.
And I will laugh. Good times, good times.
Yes.
Back from his holiday, Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah.
Are you recording?
I am recording. I am watching the program record as we speak. So that's a good thing.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. You told me before the show started that you had a solid 6 out of 10 holiday.
It was very mediocre indeed. And the reason for that is that the weather was shit. And that's about it.
Just
and
a stable sense of mediocrity. That's what gets you through life.
Wow.
You don't want those highs and too lows to be too excessive.
Really now?
Right?
I'm not sure. If you say so.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on because we're in uncharted territory now. We didn't do this before.
I'm not gonna let you. I don't know if you're trying to pull off a segue, but I'm not gonna let you get away with it because, you know, one of our hosts was absent last week. There's also a game that has been absent from release schedules for about 5 years now. It's called The Last Guardian.
I give your segue a solid 6 out of 10.
The Last Guardian has been delayed to December. It was previously slated to release in, let me check over here, an earlier date, being
September,
October 25.
Or October.
So now it's been moved over. It's been pushed back to December.
So that's 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's coming out.
Almost like Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian made a pact to never come out, and then say they come out in the fall of 2016, and then just go, no, ha, psych.
You go first. No, you go first.
It is kind of odd that these two titles have been in development so long, and then they're both announced for the same quarter, and then both of them are canceled, or not canceled, or delayed again.
Well, they probably
the world
both thought
works in mysterious ways.
They probably both thought like, we're in development for 10 years already. What does this additional 6 week matter anymore? So,
well, to me, not a whole lot. I mean, does it matter to you guys? I know all three of us are not particularly looking forward to Final Fantasy 15. How about The Last Guardian? Any fans here?
No, not really. Back when it was announced for the PlayStation 3, I was kind of into it, and it all looked very pretty. But the footage I've seen on the PlayStation 4 version are not really that... It doesn't do anything for me. It looks like a high-risk port from PlayStation 3 game to PlayStation 4, and we've only seen the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't grab my attention at all at this point.
I feel much the same about it. How about you, Panda?
Yeah, I must confess that I've never played any of their earlier games.
Not even Shadow?
Shit. Nope, I never played Shadow of the Colossus.
Shame.
Yeah, I just never played it when it came out, and then everything about it got spoiled, like all the big plot twists and whatnot.
You watched it in its entirety, right?
I watched most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did get most of the experience, but yeah, it looks interesting. I think if I had played the other games at the time, that I might be more excited for this, but
the other games definitely have, although, well, I have never played Ico or Ico.
That was what I was going to ask.
Yes, I did play Shadow, and that game has a definite emotional quality to it. Like the story is really minimalistic. It works very well. Graphically, it works very well, and the gameplay is interesting too. It's a game unlike any other. So to that extent, I am sort of looking forward to The Last Guardian. Although I am, well, like Grizzly, I don't really think it's gonna live up to that 10-year delay.
What game can though? I mean,
Duke Nukem Forever? Nope.
Oh.
But I did read some positive previews, although I don't remember where. I think GameSpot was pretty positive on it actually, so that is something. I mean, obviously,
but still,
we can be on this podcast too. We can be very pessimistic and sort of kick them when they're down when it comes to these endless delays. But at the end of the day, you still hope for a decent game. I mean, I want Final Fantasy 15 to be good. I just played the demo, and I thought the demo wasn't good at all.
Yeah, but that's saying that. I mean, the gameplay footage that we have seen, it doesn't really do anything for me.
I've heard some positive stuff about like the first couple of hours. I think maybe it was PAX or something. That couple
are you talking about
Final
Last
Fantasy?
Guardian?
No, Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, wait, I was talking about Last Guardian.
Oh. Well.
The last fantasy of the Final Guardian.
Nice.
How are the boys going to get out of this one? Let's find out next week.
But I'm more hopeful for The Last Guardian than I am for Final Fantasy 15, because when they revealed or re-revealed it for the third time at E3 last year, I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, graphically it wasn't impressive, but the interaction with the animal looked interesting enough, and I think that emotional quality that I mentioned before, I think it definitely has the potential to. This game has the potential to have that as well. So I have hope. Hopes and dreams.
The company has a better track record than the team behind Final Fantasy 15. So if you look
do they?
Well, they have 2 good games. This is their third. If you look at Final Fantasy, the franchise Final Fantasy for the last couple of years has been pretty shitty.
But at least they've been releasing games. I mean, you have to admit that an 8-year delay doesn't, or whatever it is, doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
Well, shitty games don't either, so, I mean, I'm sorry.
That's a fair point.
I mean,
that is a very fair point.
I mean, you know what I think about the director, and looking at the last couple of Final Fantasy games, I mean, just look at 13. That doesn't inspire hope at all. To me, at least.
It really.
I know you have a lightning poster in your room. Don't.
He is one of those squishy models.
What, you mean like the pillow?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna confirm nor deny this. No.
But I'm speaking of hopes and dreams for the future. Apparently, Bethesda had some of their own. Namely, they wanted to release mods, or they announced that they were gonna release mods for their games on PS4, until Sony said, "No, you're not."
No.
No, the man said no. And they were denied. Do we have feelings? I think Panda, you over there, you in the corner. With the tight blouse.
Here I am.
I think you are the number one fan of games like Oblivion and Skyrim on this podcast.
Well, I maybe by default. Yeah, I like Skyrim, but
well, there you go.
I think it's weird. I had a little bit of discussion about it on Twitter as well. It's just, it got announced it's not half a year ago, but quite a while ago at this point at E3, I believe, at the Bethesda event, and Microsoft has been, yeah, sure, that's great, that's good about it, and for some reason now Sony is saying no. And
did they say yes? in the past.
Yeah, that's also a point I was going to make.
I don't know if they did. So maybe Bethesda would think not. I would assume that they talked it over with PlayStation, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, maybe they were in talks, and they were premature in announcing that PlayStation 4 would be getting mods as well.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But why did Sony wait this long to say something about it?
I think Sony is kind of trying to make a walled garden for themselves. I mean, there was also a few months ago, this announcement, or not announcement, but the team from Rocket League, I think, that they said that multi-platform multiplayer, so for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC people to play on the same servers in the same games, etc., would be possible in like 45 minutes as long as PlayStation or Sony gave the okay. But they didn't, even though Microsoft was all on board. And I think they are trying to keep PlayStation as a brand as closed as possible.
I agree.
And keep everything to themselves. Because if you're opening your system up for mods anyway, that means that you're probably digging into the system software a little bit deeper in the architecture. And I think that they want to keep that as closed as possible, like I said.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say as well. Like, if you, I mean, disclaimer here, I know nothing when it comes to programming, but I would assume that if you have mods and if you have the option to include mods and develop mods, you sort of get closer to the source of the game. So exploits for the system and hacking the system might potentially be easier. I could be completely off the mark here. If we have some programmer folk listening to the podcast, I know that we have one listener in Uganda. Shout out. We love you.
Nice.
Yeah.
If we have any programmer friends listening to the show, please feel free to chime in.
Well, I honestly thought at first it was probably because of nudity or something, that they were afraid of like controversial mods in nudity or obscenity or whatever on their consoles.
That's more of a Nintendo thing, isn't it?
I can, like, with if you have a rating for a game and suddenly there's a part of it that is not rated properly or something, I could see it being a bit of a PR thing.
I think there's a way to circumvent that, though. I think
probably.
they for things like what's it called, Little Big Planet. I think they also have a disclaimer where they say that they cannot be held responsible for user content or stuff like that.
No, I completely understand that, and I have seen that disclaimer. I think it pops up in most games where you go online.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that maybe they are still kind of afraid of it. That's what I thought. I guess your explanation of maybe being able to exploit the system software would make more sense. It seems weird to me that they come out now at this point, this far, when Xbox already has it. And I mean, they're popular games, and the Skyrim HD re-release is coming, is around the corner. So I think it could definitely help boost.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think it's gonna matter? Because I think this only matters to the most hardcore players, and those players are generally on PC. So I don't think it's. I think they weighed their options, and they said that, not enough people are gonna care about this to actually take this risk. So
yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, I mean, percentually speaking, how many of the PC community do install mods for their games? I know us three don't.
I'm
do
gonna
that.
hazard a guess and say it's a pretty low percentage, and those are probably the people with those monster systems and the $1,000 3D cards.
Well, maybe
so
not
those
even
people
but
will not be playing on PlayStation anyway.
I don't know. I think it could really be something that can be made more accessible through console gaming, because on PC it can be very, scary to download and mod a game. It sounds very I don't know
depends.
how to program or whatever.
If you have Steam
maybe,
Workshop,
maybe
then
it's just it could be just as easy as clicking a button, but to many people it might not feel that way. And on a console, it's just literally clicking a button and downloading it. So I could definitely see how it could be popular on consoles, but I guess we'll never know at this point because it's not.
Yeah,
well, not for PlayStation.
Yeah,
and I wonder if another part of it is that I know that for example the PC version of The Witcher, you have things where you can you have what do you call it? You become burdened, right? When you carry too much stuff around. So there are mods that take care of this. I mean, you could make mods where you have infinite money as well. So
money.
they can also act like cheat codes, right? And I know that some of the more no, I'm not saying that's bad at all, but some of the more nefarious downloadable content practices, they like to charge you for all sorts of stuff, and that stuff could also be made, unless it's actual story content, but if it's things like horse armor, which the first Oblivion introduced that stuff could easily be implemented by free mods, so you would not have to buy the DLC. And I think Sony just would rather avoid that entire debate with its with the studios.
Then again, this is just Bethesda that was setting up its own thing.
Indeed.
For now,
but it's not like everyone is rushing to get their own mod support on consoles.
And Bethesda is known for being mod friendly anyway, so I don't think a lot of games are mod friendly in the sense of Oblivion or whatever. And it would not be every studio making their game opening it up to mods.
Sure, but that's just what I think was their reasoning.
Yeah.
But I agree that it would be cool. It would be cool to have mods accessible to the public in a really user-friendly fashion.
On the PC, that is actually like Steam.
It is, but for console people as well. I think it would be cool and a nice way to get more enjoyment out of your game without actually, paying for it. Paying for DLC that turns out to be lackluster.
Yeah, I wonder, again though, it's the debate of how many people actually use mods. And how interesting can a mod be.
Absolutely.
Because I think only a small percentage of all mods are definitely worth to check out.
Sure, yeah.
And if you then take a percentage of the percentage and of the people who use mods, it's going to
there is
quite a small
some
number
cool stuff out there, and there are some passionate people behind it. So it's something that I would like to see on consoles as well, and I hope it eventually comes over. That the debate is being had is at least a good sign. I hope.
Now that I think of it, I mean, Xbox
suit.
was always a little bit more open to indie development, right? At least on the Xbox 360 they were.
They started that way, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So maybe this is their way of getting back into that game a little bit by including mod support for bigger titles from Bethesda.
Yeah, I think they are starting to work more and more towards a uniform system, right? Where you have games, not games for Windows, what's it called?
Windows Store? A game play everywhere?
Yeah, where you have it on Windows, you have it on Xbox. It's the same platform, more or less. Just a different way you play it. So it sort of makes sense for Microsoft to want to be able to deliver that same experience on the Xbox console as well.
Though I don't think mod support is really there on the Windows Store. I think maybe... Oh, now that you mentioned it, this could be a way for them to get more into the PC market. I mean, if you look at now, Steam is
what
PC,
they want to do, right?
Yeah, so if you... And Steam has a very easy way to install mods. If they then can do it first on Xbox and then port it over to Windows 10, that would be actually quite a good move now that you mention it. Huh.
Yeah, I actually think... wait a second, I'm trying to look it up here, but there was a rumor, or there was... let me check it here. There was this rumor, or there was this piece by Tim Sweeney, who is a game developer, and I'm not quite sure
Sweeney? No, wait, Sweeney
where. didn't have time to look that up. But he said that he thinks that
Epic, right?
Microsoft... Is he in Epic?
I think so. He was the co-founder. Was he the co-founder? I think it's Epic.
In any case.
Keep talking, little man.
Epic.
Okay, you looked that up. I'm gonna talk here.
It's Epic.
So he said that he thinks Microsoft in Windows 10 will continue to make Steam worse through patches. And he got a lot of criticism for that. But, one thing we can say is that Microsoft would definitely like a bigger slice of the pie. So yeah, introducing mods to the Windows Store, it seems like a likely scenario.
So this ostensibly innocuous piece of news could have far-reaching consequences. You heard it here first, folks.
You've been silent all this time to come up with your what do you call them? Your big words, huh?
With my fancy words.
Well, I don't care much for that. I care about other fancy stuff,
Yes.
namely the PS Pro.
Boo.
Here it is.
Okay. I see that I'm alone. And actually, I'm not alone because I don't care about it either.
Okay.
But it's been announced.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah. Do you?
What do
how
we think? What do we feel?
I think the reception was quite lackluster, or is it just me? I think the game developers are quite into it, but like the gamers themselves are a little bit like, okay, it's more powerful. Now what?
Okay, so from what I understand, just to sum it up real quick, it's slightly more powerful than the PS4, and you can it detects the TV it's putting out to and adjusts the graphics accordingly, right? That's what
I think it's an option in the menu. At least it was in the Rise of the Tomb Raider demo, that you could choose whether or not to have stable frame rate or a fixed resolution. I think because output is always done through the system settings anyway.
I heard something about HDR. There's a lot of talk about HDR.
Yes,
Having better colors and whatnot.
Yeah.
The contrast
Did you
ratio
guys
is-
see the Did you guys see the Digital Foundry video?
No, I only saw the live feed on the live blog.
Okay.
While the conference was going on.
Digital Foundry, one of them at least, one of the guys over there, he had the chance to actually see it in action, and the other guy, he watched it on a stream, and apparently the video that Sony put out there on the stream was not really indicative of the actual visual quality of the PS Pro.
That's of course also because it's a stream, one, and two, if you're gonna
But
display
it was-
HDR, you need to have a monitor or a screen that can handle
but
HDR.
even
so-
4K, the stuff they said, the stuff that they said was representative of the PS Pro turned out not to be. And the guy that actually did have the opportunity to sort of go hands-on and check it out, he said that it actually looked very good and a very noticeable bump. And HDR, the colors, you do really notice a difference. I think he had a look at Uncharted, Tomb Raider, and Horizon. And he was pretty. I mean, it's not a high-end PC, obviously, but he was more impressed by it than he thought he would be.
I read a summary of the announcement, and it compared it to the 3DS, where you can't really know what it is like until you see it with your actual own eyes. Which was the thing with the 3DS, of course, because you have to actually look at the screen. You can't.
I can't
put it up on
imagine
a TV.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, this is kind of the same. Where it really depends on the screen which you're looking at, and you really have to properly see it on a proper screen before you can really.
Which means that you have to pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a bit of a
so
downside.
this is it's gonna be something for the enthusiasts. But they also made a point out of it to not leave PlayStation 4 owners behind, right?
Yeah, but I do think that Xbox made that more clear than they did with the PlayStation 4 Pro announcement. But that's just the feeling I
they
get.
have to try a bit harder.
Yeah. What, Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Yeah, maybe. But still, I mean, with the PlayStation 4 Pro, I don't know. It's just the feeling I get when I read the live blog. It's like, okay. And I'm not sure. I just don't like this development at all.
I'm not sure whether I'm not really all that opposed to it, as long as it has to, we have to wait and see, just like we said last time.
Yeah. But
Yes.
Okay. With the 3DS and the new 3DS, there was also a performance increase, but there wasn't really a difference between one game and the other on the handhelds, right? Only loading times would be a little bit quicker on the new 3DS. But now with this PlayStation 4 Pro, even developers are making a point that it will run better and it would look prettier on the PlayStation 4 Pro. They're even labeling certain games with the PlayStation 4 Pro label that states that quality would be, or visual quality would be better, etc., and that it would be smoother.
Yeah, on the box.
I mean, I get the feeling that some developers, and I swear to God, I hope that I'm wrong, but they won't take the PlayStation 4 as a baseline, or that they would get it barely running on the PlayStation 4 and that it would run super smooth on the PlayStation 4 Pro.
But wouldn't that be to their detriment? Because the user base will have there will be a vast majority of PS4 owners, and the PS4 Pro owners will be in the vast minority. So, catering specifically to those people and delivering an inferior experience, it will only damage your brand.
Yeah, the problem is that updating is so much more expensive. I was just trying to think of other examples in the past, and I guess the 3DS would be a good example. But I was thinking further back in, particularly Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong 64 on the Nintendo 64, which you needed the expansion pack for. You couldn't really play the games otherwise, and I mean that was, and back in those times to us, because we were kids, that was a big deal because it was a whole new device that you had to plug into you had to buy. It came with Donkey Kong 64, I believe, but
yeah.
This is not just like something you plug in; it's an entirely new console. So, and not even counting the expensive new TV or monitor that you'd need. So it is kind of asking a lot of people who already have a PS4.
And I'm also wondering how many people will buy into the PlayStation 4 Pro then.
Yeah,
of course it's wait and see.
Really
of course,
but
to
seeing.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's I have this weird feeling also because afterwards they were not really clear on whether or not patching would be free, yes or no. Because at first
a pro
the thing
patch for your existing game.
Yeah, at first it was that the developer could choose to charge you, but now they say that it's all free. So even communication about those kind of things was a little bit foggy, and that was not handled well. I feel.
Yeah.
No.
I would hope that sort of stuff would be free, although I can also fully see them charging money for it.
They already confirmed that it would be free, but even still, it was poor but it was poor communication on their behalf. And I think also I saw somewhere that it was also stated that the smooth VR experience would be on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that also got me a little bit anxious. Well, not anxious; it got me scared a little bit. Because then at first it was always okay, PlayStation 4, you have the PlayStation VR, it would be your cheapest way to buy into VR. But if you're getting a shitty experience on the PlayStation 4 VR because you only have the PlayStation 4 and you get all the motion sickness, etc., wouldn't that be damaging to virtual reality? I mean,
all of the motion sickness.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what they're now saying then. And that's something that also kind of, I don't know, it feels wrong.
Yeah, if PlayStation VR doesn't end up working well with the current PS4, that would be a shitty move on Sony's side.
And I think,
I fully
looking
agree.
at the specifications, I think that is going to be the case.
Yeah, I agree that odds of that happening. Magic 8 Ball says likely.
Which would suck because I definitely was looking forward to getting a VR.
Then you have to buy
Well,
the
now you can
PlayStation
look
4 Pro.
forward to getting a 4K TV.
But they also said that the PlayStation 4 Pro, if you only have an HD TV, that it would you would still see the difference. That there would be a significant performance increase.
Yeah,
but you
but
would be. Are you gonna buy a PS4 Pro if you haven't got a 4K
No. But
display?
if Panda says he wants to buy into VR, and then he has to also make he doesn't have to buy an extra screen that supports HDR, etc. Blah blah blah. That was more the point I was trying to make. But they say that they don't want to blur the lines between console generation cycles, etc. It's kind of blurring the line. To me, at least.
Yeah.
I feel that I already said this before on the show. I feel that the last console generation was dragged out way too long, and I feel that the current generation was kind of lackluster in their specifications. And now with the onset of VR and HDR screens and 4K resolution or even 1440p, they need to catch up, but they're kind of mid-cycle and they don't really know how to do it in another way. So I am hoping that this is the only generation that will see these mid-cycle releases, and then starting from I think it's the 9th generation console generation, we will get back to normal things.
Well, it depends. It depends on how well these consoles are gonna do. Because if Sony figures that they can sell you another $400 mid-console cycle, you bet your ass that they're gonna do it next time as well.
That's very true. But
so they can keep the price. They can keep a relatively low price point. I mean, $400 is a lot of money, obviously, but it's not $600. So they can keep the price down to a relatively affordable level for everyone at the initial launch. And then for the enthusiasts, they can say, well, you want real next-gen graphics? Buy another one.
I'm shitty practices.
I think it's good to... I am not particularly fond of it either. I would rather have a powerful box
from the
that
get-go.
Is good to go for 5 years. Of course, in the end, it will get overrun by PC. But once you really master the hardware, once developers master the hardware, they can still. We've seen it time and time again. They can still squeeze some amazing stuff out of it. I agree with you. I much prefer that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when the Xbox 360 came out, that 2 years into the cycle, they were already saying, but that the PC was more powerful. But who cares, right? I mean, the games still look pretty on the Xbox and the PlayStation 3 back then anyway. And also, I have the feeling that they're kind of chasing resolution a lot this generation, even though the previous wasn't even 720p all the way. And I'm not sure why they think that it's that important. If you have a game that runs 900p, it still has potential to look amazing. You don't have to hit at 1080p at 60 frames per second, but it's sort of a dream that they're chasing this generation really hard, and they cannot seem to get there unless they do this console upgrade, this mid-cycle upgrade.
That's the biggest thing that will allow them to make another box, right? Because you get this upgrade and you get this new resolution, and by constantly bombarding you with 4K, you start thinking that you actually want it. Oh, I have to say I'm still perfectly fine with my 1080p display. Then again, I'm not a big PC gamer, so...
Caveman.
No, but also you see on what was it? In the beginning of this console generation that it was all 1080, 30 frames per second, but not all games were. And that doesn't matter.
If it looks good, if it runs stable...
Yeah, I mean, but...
that's fine.
I'm getting way too...
Take a break.
Getting some stable frame rates. Getting some stable frame rates should be a higher priority.
By the way, do you guys know the HDMI port on what version it is?
I have no idea.
The new one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, no, I already have it here. Yeah, no, because they're also going to support HDR on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Slim, I believe. But those have HDMI ports 1.4, so they won't support the latest HDR10 specifications. So even if you want that, you need a new PlayStation 4 Pro.
I see, but
Sony.
then again, would the PS4 be able to convincingly output games with the HDR effect layered on top of it?
To be honest, I'm quite foggy on how it works in games, because as far as I know, it's just a higher contrast ratio between colors, and I'm not sure if I'm completely blank on this. If for HDR you need a more powerful hardware to run. I know that back in the Half-Life 2 days, when they first announced HDR, which was essentially just a bloom effect, you needed a better graphics card, but this is something different, I think. This is just your color rendering, or maybe not even color rendering.
So
I'm
we
not
don't
sure
know how much of a strain it puts on the hardware.
Not at all.
Okay.
So, but then again, did you guys note that this is actually sort of playing into another format war?
Is it?
Go on.
Because you have HDR, but you also have Dolby
HDMI
Vision.
monster cables? Only buy the gold cables.
$200
if you paid less than
per
$100
meter.
bucks,
I'm
your
sorry.
screen is gonna look like shit.
Shit. No, but you have Dolby Vision and you have HDR. And apparently those are two formats that are currently kind of in war, I think. So this is PlayStation again jumping on one specific format, I think.
Well, as
Didn't
my
they-
friend Ken Watanabe would say, let them fight.
Also, no Ultra HD Blu-ray support, which is weird.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Xbox One does have that. Scorpio does have that, right?
Xbox One, yeah, and they also have HDR output on there as well.
How many Blu-rays do you guys own?
Blu-rays?
Like 10 or 20. I
I
haven't bought any in a long time.
buy like 2 or 3 per year.
Okay, so
Depends. If I really like the movie,
would it
I
be
want to
safe
buy the
to
Blu-ray.
say that? Would it be safe to say that we are not too up in arms about this latest development?
I just think it's
kind of
weird.
weird seeing
Yeah.
that it's Sony's thing, Blu-ray.
Well, not really.
Yeah,
So they have a stake in it, but it's not purely
No,
only
they
Sony.
develop it's Sony's.
I think that Blu-ray was actually
Sony's.
not Sony only. I think it was multiple companies.
I don't know about that, but I know that
I
Sony
thought.
has very important things.
Yeah, they have a lot
with
of
Blu-ray.
Yeah, a big
So,
stake in there. But
Yeah,
Take
I mean,
that.
for video aficionados, I'm sure it could be a big deal, but for the general public, who cares?
Blu-ray Association. Sony, Panasonic,
Sure,
Pioneer,
sure.
Philips, Thomson, LG Electronics, Hitachi, etc. So it's not only Sony.
Okay,
They have a big stake in it again, but
not big
Yeah.
enough.
Not not big enough, Kaz. Get on
But,
that. Hey, no, stop it.
I was going to say
Stop.
that you have a
Stop
point
it.
with the streaming and everything. So your loss, bitch.
Okay. Yes. Can I pick it up again? No, I don't want to, because... Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Mario is coming to smartphones.
Specifically, the new Apple smartphone.
Specifically, the new
Also
Apple telephone, known as the Nexus.
the iPhone.
It's just coming on iOS, right? It's not locked on
It's
iPhone
also
7?
coming to
It's
Android.
coming to Android, but later.
Okay. So that's
it's
how all app releases work?
It's a running game. Like Mario runs automatically, and you tap the screen to make him jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
And I saw, I partly saw the announcement, and I thought that's kind of lame. then there were people next to me who were like, "Oh, it's really cool," and I was like, "Is it?" And then I took it.
Is it
and
though?
And then I sat down. I was like, well, I guess it looks all right. I guess it's. I mean, they're gonna make shit ton of money with that.
And you really had to force yourself to get excited about that one.
Yeah, I really did.
I guess
I'm still waiting for the Fire Emblem app game.
probably
that
got
they
delayed
announced
because of
way
this.
Back when.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
that might turn out to be an actual game. I don't consider runner games to be actual games.
Wow.
Tapping the screen. It's a Flappy Bird Mario edition. Oh, shots fired. Yeah,
And Flappy Bird was Mario Bird edition. So I guess that would make this
It kind of was. The circle
Mario
is
Bird
complete.
Flappy Mario edition.
Do you guys feel that for people from our generation, this feels kind of weird, but for people that are younger than us, this seems like a really great, awesome thing?
I'm not saying it's
No.
not. I think that it can definitely be a good thing for Nintendo and with their great IPs to move into other areas. It's weird, but we've seen it before with Sega. It's not the same, of course.
Oh,
But,
and that worked out so well for them.
no, yeah,
It did. It did.
But when we were kids, we would have never in a million years have thought that Sonic would ever be on a Nintendo console. And then all of a sudden, there was Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games, instant classic. And followed
I bought
immediately
two.
by Smash Brothers, that little Smash Brothers, whatever. But yeah, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, man, that was a game changer.
Yeah, that was truly the move that precedented all of this, I think.
No, in any case, I don't think it's that weird to see Nintendo branch out. I think it's a good thing.
No, we
Can
knew that it
definitely-
was gonna happen, but
Yeah.
also what I sort of guessed was gonna happen is that they would not release a full Mario game on smartphones. This is this is a runner game. That to me does not make it a real Mario game because you
No, they were very.
I don't have to explain this.
They were very much going on about how you can play it with one hand, so you can play it on the train or when you're eating something. So it was very much. Shigeru Miyamoto was on stage and he was pretending to eat an apple while he was playing it.
Apple.
I did not even connect those dots. But in any case,
Nice.
I feel that's going to keep me awake at night. But I don't know. It's definitely just kind of like that Apple thing is just killing me now. I can't
you can't
make
even.
a proper thought.
You're a mess.
I'm just gonna cry.
Sad.
Yes.
Did you wanna? Were you gonna say something about this, or is it
no?
not gonna
I was
happen
just
anymore?
mostly gonna agree with you that indeed they were also presenting it as very much not a full game, but they present it as a full game, but as a game that you play when you're on the train or whatever. So it's very light
You're jerking off.
on gamishness. So yeah, a lot of people know Mario, and maybe a lot of people don't own. Yeah, and maybe a lot of people don't own Nintendo consoles, but they. I can definitely see all the trains in Japan filling up with people playing Mario. So, yeah, there.
Yeah.
Do with that what you would want to do with it.
So speaking of shitty smartphone games, Pokemon Go is getting an update where it adds a buddy system.
Yeah,
So is this out? Is this out already?
Nope.
it's being rolled out in different regions. Some regions have it already.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
Nice.
I checked earlier today and wasn't out on my store yet. So
Exciting stuff. Scoop for you here. I uninstalled it.
you uninstalled Pokemon Go, you heretic.
Okay, tell me honestly, are you still having fun with this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still having fun.
Okay,
with it.
I know you are a simple man. I shouldn't have.
I am.
Grizzly.
I enjoy the little things in life, spinning little circles on my screen.
I have to say, back in Belgium, at least in the place where I live, the amount of Pokemon that show up is quite limited. Also, not a lot of species show up. But when
That's
I went
everywhere.
but when I went to Croatia, I caught, I think, 20 new Pokemon. And that got me excited again.
Yeah, I should probably mention that as well. I was going to the wife and I went out to a restaurant where there just happened to be a shit ton of Pokestops, and there were so many different Pokemon, and we were just catching all sorts of new stuff and evolving things, and that's fucking
really good.
exciting.
Yeah, that's fun, but
Don't have to talk to each other either. That's a win-win.
No, we were just,
ideal relationship.
we were just being millennials.
You really love that word, don't you?
I love it. I love being a millennial, being sarcastic and posting it on my social medias.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you're excited about this?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it could add some much needed improvements to the game.
What? It doesn't add jack
Because-
shit.
Yeah, it adds the fact that you can now collect candies
Yeah.
without having to catch Pokemon.
So if you want to power up your main Pokemon, you can do that now by walking.
But I mean, to me, the catching mechanic just got old. And I don't, I played it very intensively for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks even. But I sort of petered out when just the catching mechanic got old to me.
But
And
maybe that's
when
also the difference
Yeah.
between me and you. You were intensively playing Pokemon Go for a couple of weeks. And for me, it's like I'm not playing intensively because I play it on my iPad, which is very stupid, I know. And I maybe do a walk once a week. So for me, it's more like a laid-back attitude to the game. And then the catching
I
mechanic
leave the
doesn't
house
really
once
get
a
that
week.
old. Sorry?
You leave the house once a week?
To catch Pokemon? Yes.
Okay. What level are you?
I think I just hit 18.
Okay, so then you're pretty much at my level now. I think I got to 18.
Okay. But yeah, I have a Pokedex of 85 or something. Thank you, Croatia. Yeah,
So
it's-
that's
no thanks.
what made you give the overall vacation a 6 out of 10 as opposed to a 3.
Yes. Yes. Well, I got a Hitmonchan and a Hitmonlee. I missed the Dragonair, though. 2 Pincers, which was good. And a whole lot of stuff. So, no, it was fun to get out of get into a new place where you could get a large variety of different Pokemon that I would not have found otherwise here.
Quick fun story. There's a Pokemon spawn point right next to my house, which has pincers sometimes. And in the real world, in our house, we often have Mukade,
Fun!
which are centipedes with pincer-like pincers.
That
So,
is
real life and the virtual world overlapping, perhaps.
hilarious.
Yes. Knee slapping. You can't hear it, but I'm slapping my knee.
Okay.
I
Okay,
can
you
feel-
guys
I can
are
feel
excited.
it. I can feel it.
Sure. I would like some.
Look, Pokemon Go is far from a perfect game. If it's
It's far
a game,
from a
it's
good
just-
game.
It's
Some might say.
yeah, definitely. I will agree with you, but it can be fun
If you want it.
when you're in the right areas and if you have the right attitude.
Okay, so it's an attitude problem.
So turn that frown upside down.
Oh, I would rather talk about some video games for the next 5 minutes. Let's do it. Hey, Panda, you over there?
Yes,
You've
that's me.
been playing a couple of games.
I have.
I'm gonna ask you to pick one.
Yes. Pick one. Well,
I'm also doing this for your sake because over there it's 1:30, almost 1:20.
Yeah, a.m. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I finished 2 games this week: Mad Max and Fire.
I don't want to hear the other one.
No, yeah, but I'm gonna say that I really liked Mad Max, and you really should give it a try. It's
The reviews on that were I think in the 70 range, so decent-ish. Okay,
Yeah.
an okay game, but then word of mouth on this is that it's actually pretty good.
I had a ton of. If you like the movie and the setting, it's a lot about weird characters with really crazy names and driving your fucking monster car around through the desert.
Yeah.
If you're into that kind of stuff, definitely check it out. I really enjoyed it, way more than I thought I would.
Okay.
So yeah,
It seems like a good pickup from the bargain bin.
definitely.
What's good
pick
about it?
up. I really liked the setting, just to being able to drive around in your car and just fuck people up.
Wow.
and power up your car and drive around and
Would you call it the
and
ultimate
explore.
sandbox?
because it's in a desert.
Yes.
I get it. I got this one.
Yeah.
I might not have gotten the apple, but I got this one. I can sleep soundly tonight.
You're back on top, baby.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, check it out.
Okay.
Nah. Sure.
Well.
After that ringing endorsement, who wouldn't?
You, I take it.
Grizzly,
Yeah.
did you play anything this week?
Yes, actually, I played 2 games, but can I talk about both, or need I talk about just one?
Oh, you can talk about both, sure.
Okay,
Hey.
good. I will start with Overwatch real quick. I played yesterday with a couple of friends of mine because it was free this weekend on Xbox and PlayStation. And to be honest, playing this game with friends, it's much more fun than playing this by yourself. If you
Which
guys
is
get
every
it,
game.
Well, maybe. Anyway, depends. If you guys get it, we should play together. It's very, very fun. I know it's sort of a Team Fortress 2 game, and you need to be into it if you want to like it, but it's really fun. It looks great, and if you play with friends, I'm lonely. You really get the full experience out of it. The other game I've been playing.
I'm interested in it. Who's your wait before you move on? Who's your waifu? Or alternatively, who is your husbando?
Oh, you mean in Overwatch? You just mean the hero I picked,
yes.
right? Okay. Right now it's the new one. Anna, I think she's called. It's a sniper support character who heals the characters if you shoot them, if you shoot your teammates, but damages the enemies when you shoot them, of course. And yeah, that's fun.
She have strong arms?
I do not know where you're going with this.
Be
Oh.
cradled in. So if I like Team Fortress 2, then I will like this?
Yeah, definitely. You like Team Fortress 2?
No.
I thought it was okay.
Okay, buy it. It's yeah. It's a very, very good game. Anyways,
Yeah, it's that indie developer can probably use some more
I think so,
cash.
yeah. I mean, after Hearthstone. Whew. The other game I've been playing is Bravely Default, which is actually a very, very good game. I'm way into it, and it's been a while since I played a JRPG. The last time I talked with Polar about this game, I was hyping it up. I still feel the same way. The music is great. The graphics, of course, on the 3DS, but the art direction is also very great. The atmosphere. Okay, the combat can get a little bit grindy, but I'm loving almost everything about this game. So I just played it like 4 years too late, maybe, but
It also gave you a great idea for the title of your autobiography.
Bravely Default?
Yes.
Right, anyway, go play it.
Okay. Yeah, I might pick that one up,
anything?
actually. I have played something this week. I decided to hook up my PS2 to a TV that was much too large for it. And I booted up Metal Gear Solid 3. Snack Eater! And I played a little bit. Did you play this game?
No.
You guys.
No, but it's on my backlog list.
Mm-hmm.
I know the story though.
I do not.
Oh, you watched your wife play it?
A little bit, but I also read up on it before I played Metal Gear 5.
Oh, okay,
Metal
I
Gear
see.
Solid 5.
I see. So I still have this sort of masochistic urge to play through all Metal Gear Solids before I eventually, probably somewhere during the next console cycle, get to 5.
Good luck.
I played 1 and 2 back in the day. I enjoyed myself. But now I think I got almost halfway through Metal Gear Solid 3 when I played like 2 years ago. So I loaded up that save again. I'm not starting all the way from the beginning. Which, also resulted in that I did not really remember how to play the game.
From what I
I know the
understand, the
feeling.
controls are ludicrous.
They are pretty insane. I mean, yeah. Well, what I found out works best if you're shooting someone, don't go into first-person view, because that is just entirely too cumbersome. I just, run and spray. And that is my tactic of choice. And, I don't know if I'm playing it right. Well, not if I'm spraying bullets everywhere, obviously.
Yep.
But, the sneaking, sometimes, they find you and you just keep running around the environment hoping to hide somewhere, and they just keep finding you, and then in the end, you just kill everyone. And I feel like that's not what's supposed to happen. But then again, there are cool moments and just things that other games do not have.
So
that
you
sort
said
of make
in
make it worthwhile.
in our group chat
Yes.
that you are liking the story. Is that correct?
This was obviously sarcasm.
Yeah, it didn't come over as sarcasm. Because
Well,
it's chat.
but you have
ass.
you have heard me speak on this game. I have given lectures on Metal Gear.
Yeah, but
and
maybe
my
in
thoughts
that
on it on this
hour,
podcast
on that hour,
At
you saw the
Kojima
Kojima light,
University.
and you thought like, no, Kojima's like, he's a god. I finally understand his storytelling.
Kojima is his husbando.
Oh yes. I am still looking for a middle-aged Japanese sugar daddy. If
Who isn't?
you are that person, you can send us an email. Just stick around till the end of the show, and I will be all over you. Anyway, I think Kojima is sort of, and I don't know if this is giving him too much praise, but you can sort of compare him to the George Lucas of the video game industry, in that he has a lot of good ideas, but he desperately needs someone to
Keep him in check.
and just to have him take 2 steps back from time to time, because he has so many interesting ideas on a gameplay level as well, and but at the same time there are these ludicrous characters with ridiculous exposition, and it doesn't really gel together all that well, I think.
And that's
it
the
could
same
be a lot
feeling I
better.
had with Metal Gear Solid 2. So it's
Yeah, oh yeah.
sometimes
It'll, from my experience, it only gets crazier from there.
okay.
Yeah. And you still have his defenders, and they say, that's just too Japanese. And I think those people should die.
Wow. Okay.
Good morning.
But hey, that's just me. And on that note,
Jeez.
I think we got ourselves a show.
Oh.
What do you think about
Okay.
that? Hey, by the
well-
way, Grizzly, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have you make a promise you hopefully can keep.
Probably not.
Are you gonna make some video out of this episode?
Hopefully.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Say yes
Great.
to that, Chris.
There you have it in black and white. Thank you listening over there, whether you're from Belgium, Japan, the United States, or from, indeed, Uganda, or from Croatia, where, for mysterious reasons, we got a sudden influx of Croatian listeners. Thank you very much for tuning in. Even though Grizzly doesn't like your country.
What? Oh,
6 out of 10.
The rest of us do? Question mark. Keep listening.
I liked it, yeah.
Oh, there you go. So thank you for making it all the way to the end. If you have a question or if you are a Japanese sugar daddy, you can send an email to game.honeys with an S at the end at gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter. You can find Grizzly
At Grizzly_BE.
Mm-hmm. You can find Panda where?
At Tayo Inc.
You can find me at Kuma Guma Polar. Be sure to like and subscribe because I think almost half of our followers, and indeed the majority of Grizzly's followers, are cam girls. So let's do something about that.
Also, make sure to tune in next week because I will be at Tokyo Game Show this week.
Yay!
So hopefully we can get some cool stories.
When will you be there?
It starts Thursday and it goes till Saturday or Sunday, I think.
Will you be attending all 4 days?
We got press passes. No, we won't be attending all 4 days, but at least 2 or 3. So, yeah, we'll
Have fun.
definitely see some of the show.
Yeah.
Great.
And
Great.
I will report back to you guys next week.
Yeah.
We will be waiting. Again, thank you very much for listening. Tune in next week. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.